Guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is today's offering. Now it's a bit of a mouthful, don't get me wrong. So this is the MBP SC 125RE. Lots of letters and numbers mixed together to come up with this bike. Let's have a look round it the usual way. I shall tell you what I like and what I don't. That for me just looks like a typical modern classic, very similar to the Vespers, Lambrettas, Royal Alloys of the world. Let's have a full walk round so you can see it from all angles. I like the light setup at the back. I think it's nice and tidy, that. Nothing sticking out, nice and smooth, that. Nice little rack on the back. As you can see, it's on its centre stand, but it does come with the side stand as well. And round to the front. It's actually quite a nice looking bike. So let's go over a couple of the key things, a couple of the important things. So nice step through there, which is good. You've got bag hook, handy for a bit of shopping. So unnecessary, but little button to bring your rear passenger's foot peg out. Unnecessary, most just pull it out, but it does mean that it's locked in, so it won't just slide out. The bike itself is keyless. Let me explain why being keyless on this bike just doesn't make sense. First of all, albeit it's keyless, so you get this rather delightful fob, so the alarms, steering locks and whatnot work off this. Brilliant. However, it comes with one of these things. It's a key. And guess what you need the key for? You need the key to open your little storage box at the front. Now, if it was just that, I wouldn't have a massive issue with it. However, when you open this, there's your fuel. You've also got a USB connection there. So if you just take the fob out with you, you're not able to fuel it because this only opens off the key. So it's keyless, but you have to take a key with you everywhere. Otherwise, you've not got access to that because you can't leave it unlocked. If you leave it unlocked, it just flaps open. So, yeah, not very well thought out, I don't think that. The controls, it's actually quite tidy, this bike, as far as the controls go. You've got a horn, indicators, your high and low beam, so not loads to play with there. Right hand side, you've got your engine start, your cut off and your hazards. Now one thing I will say, that for your engine cut off, that looks very, very cheap. It does. But let me bring you on to that, because this bike, if we compare it to your Lambrettas and your Royal Alloys and Vespers and everything of that kind of style, this bike is considerably cheaper. So brand new, it is £2,699. You probably won't find a used one because they are very, very new to the market. They've pretty much just landed in the shops, so I would be shocked if you found a used one. Decent value if you compare that to the ones that I've already mentioned. It's quite a big saving on one of those. 12-inch wheels, they do come with disc brakes front and rear. It's got a belt drive, top speed of a claimed 92 kilometers per hour. It's got a liquid cooled 124.6, because that matters, cc engine, and that delivers 8.3 kilowatts of power, or in old school terms 11 mighty horses, so 11 horsepower. It's got a seat height of 785 millimeters. Let's sit on it, show you what I look like. I am 5'8" with a 29-inch inseam, so if you work that out against yourself, you can see I'm tiptoes. Now, tiptoes on a bike that has only got a 785mm seat height. Now, the reason for that is the seat is really wide. So I am spread quite a lot across this bike. So you can see I can put a straight foot down if I lift the other one up completely. But if I go right at the front, yeah, I'm flat foot both sides, but I'm kind of bars into the chest. So for comfort reasons, I'd rather just be like this on tiptoes. It's not an issue, and don't think it is if you're around my height, because it's not like when you tiptoes on a motorcycle that's really heavy. This thing feels really light. You can move it quite easily with your feet with just a little push, and because it is light, it's just easy to do. You don't feel like if it leans over too much you're going to struggle with it. It's just not going to happen, because these bikes are, well, they just feel very light, very easy to maneuver. Step through is always handy. It means when you're getting old, you don't have to or if you're not very flexible, you don't have to throw your leg over. You can just put your leg through to get on. So there's a lot to be said for that, especially as you're getting on in years. As I found, having tall bikes, you've got to do your warm-ups first to get on. It's an age thing. Don't call me, you'll get there one day. Let's talk storage. I've already pointed out the bag hook, also under seat. Let's have a look at that. My Simpson helmet is readily available to see if it fits under the seat, as I know storage is important. So here we have storage underneath, even a toolkit. Well, let's have a look. It does look plenty big enough for a full face helmet, so we'll try mine. Easy peasy. Yeah, so full face helmet does fit in. What I will say, mine has got the camera attachment and everything also on that, so that usually makes it a lot more awkward. I usually try it with helmets without all of that fitted, but it fits in there. There's even room at the back, so you could quite easily put other items in there as well as a helmet, but you're only going to fit one in. That's the walk round done. Only one more thing for me to do, and that is to go and ride it. Now, as far as scooters go, I'm a big fan. They're easy, rev and go scooters. What's not to like about those? Some are better than others as far as the performance and comfort goes. Let's see how this compares. Come on, let's go for a ride. Helmet at the ready. So much better putting gloves on in the dry when the inside of them isn't sticking to your hands. So much easier, so much more comfortable. But the clouds don't look good. But we'll see how we get on. It's dry at the moment. Let's start it up. Let's see exactly how this sounds. Oh, now during the walk round I didn't show you this side of it. It's quite a nice screen. It's old LCD style. You've got clocks, you've got total speed, you've got your trip computers, you've got fuel gauges, you've got your warning lights going up either side. You've got some buttons here as well, which just change the time of the clock. No, it's not 6:33 in the morning. Yeah, it's just like your basic buttons there to reset trip computers, change clocks, etc. Let's turn those full beams off. Okay, so instantly what I'm seeing is quite a lot of vibration in the mirrors. They're still usable, but they are battering about a lot. Don't know if the GoPro will show it, but there's a lot of vibration there. See, turn in circle. Now, I've already pointed out on the walk round, these bikes are really light anyway, so you could do this with no throttle. However, I'm lazy, and you might be, so it's just to show you the turning circle on them. Amazing. You can see how much turn you've got in your front wheel, and I was parked there, done a very tight U-turn, so that's always good. Very handy if you've not got a lot of space where you're storing them. Let's take it for a little spin, shall we? So, cobble test first of all. Classic cobbles outside into moto. And yeah, comfort wise, it was nice. There's no complaints with it really. It's a pass on the cobbles. Nothing fell off it. A good start. So I'm quite scrunched up there. I'm going to move back a bit on the seat because I do feel like I'm very, very close to the bars. And when you move back, it's a lot more comfortable. But as far as getting your feet down goes, might make it a little bit harder for a little boy like myself. We'll see. I'll either have to shuffle forward very, very quickly, or I'll just put one leg down. Whoa. Traffic looks pretty bad. See, these are where scooters excel. Getting through gaps. I don't mind getting through little gaps, but not ones where I'm going to take people's mirrors off. But for getting through gaps generally, this is better than a motorcycle because they are smaller. They're a lot narrower in the bars and they're a lot lighter, so they're easy for filtering, just not filtering like this where you've just not got enough room because the cars in front are a little bit too close together. Traffic is bad today. Traffic's really bad today, but I've already shown you the turning circle of this beast. Very easy to just get out the traffic. Now I know if you were riding this bike around and you're heading to a particular place, you may not do something like that because you're getting to a particular place, whereas I'm not. I'm just going out for a casual ride to see how this bike performs. So if I can bypass the traffic, if I can go a different way, then that is exactly what I shall do. Okay, it actually picks up speed really well, this bike. That's one thing that I can always tell a good scooter as far as performance goes anyway. If they can get to normal road speed quickly, then that is half the battle. Because these bikes, they are made for towns and cities. They're made for busy places, aren't they? They're not made for long distance riding. They're made for short commutes in busy places. And yeah, this gets up to normal road speeds very, very nicely indeed. No issues at all. It's fine on the performance side and comfort. Because this seat is so wide, it is a really comfortable place to sit. You do feel like you are, well, you feel like you could sit people side by side on the seat, it's so wide. However, when you're riding, it makes it really comfortable. The only issue comes is when you come to stop, like now, I can only get really 1 foot flat on this bike. If I try and put both down, I just kind of dangle both legs down on me tippy toes, so bear that in mind if you are shorter. Can't really complain too much. It does exactly what it's supposed to. What I will say is, in comparison to the other bikes on offer, this is certainly a budget offering, isn't it? I mean, at £2,699, I know it's not cheap because there are cheaper 125s out there. However, if you're looking at what this is comparable to, your Vespas, your Lambrettas, I'm sure they are £1,000, maybe even £2,000 more expensive. So if you compare it that way, these bikes do make a lot of sense. It means you can go out with your friends on the Lambrettas, Vespas, Royal Alloys, and you are going to fit in with them. You will look as they look on the retro or modern classics. You'll look exactly the same as them. You'll fit right in if you're going out with other scooter riders that have got this type of bike. You don't look like you've got a modern looking scooter. The only modern looking thing on this really is your digital screen, but a lot of the modern retro looking bikes have got digital screens as well. And I know the hardened classic crew will say that ruins the look of the bike because the old ones didn't have that, but you know, it's a modern classic. It's not trying to be a classic, it's a modern take on an old style looking bike, and it does that really, really well. Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. But you can tell by my voice I'm not being thrown around too much, so not too much to complain about. Oh, look at that, nicely done. Oh, now that bike's a lot louder than this one, isn't it? Let me just do a quick fire summary for this bike. So performance it's more than adequate. It gets to your normal road speeds very, very quickly. Price, I think, for the type of bike that it is less than what you'd be expected to pay if you were comparing it to other comparable bikes. At £2,699, I would say it's good value. It's not dirt cheap. It's cheap in comparison, but it's not dirt cheap. Like, there are cheaper bikes available, obviously, but of this classic type, this is probably one of the cheaper ones. But it doesn't feel like a cheap bike when you're riding. It's comfortable, the seat feels nice and plush, albeit wide, bear that in mind. Things that I've noticed on it as being a little bit cheap is things like the switch gear here, the engine stop or your cut off, and there's a bit of vibration in the mirrors, but do you know what, that is it. If this is a bike that interests you, as always, I'll put a link in the description for Into Moto if you like these types of reviews, because I don't just do reviews on the big boy bikes. I like to do a nice varied selection of all different size bikes, including bikes like this, the 125 range. So if you're looking for something like that, or you just want to kill 10-15 minutes, hit the subscribe button. And as always, if you want to contribute and help the channel, you can always buy me a coffee. I wouldn't say no to that. Who doesn't love a coffee? But for now, I'm going. I will catch you guys on the next one. Laters.